we going? This is round 2. Hopefully this one is going to go. So it looked like the other one did start, but it didn't show me that it was starting. Okay, we are now live. It's working, definitely. And typically my phone is ringing. Woohoo! Good timing. All right, we'll just wait for that to cut out. But thank you so much if you're joining for the second time. Okay, there we go. We're good. Oh no. Okay, so we're back for the second time. Thank you so much if you joined the first time round. Sorry for that little hitch. I don't know what was going on with Facebook. I am Nikki, I saw you were there. Deb, I saw you were there. Sorry to hear your mental health hasn't been great, Nikki. Yeah, I hear you. Exercise is so important for mental health. We're going to talk about that in a moment. And for those people who are joining for the first time now, or if you're watching on the replay, welcome to Finish Strong. We had a little technical hitch there at the beginning, but hopefully things will be good right now. Yes, please do drop a comment again just to let me know that you can see and hear me okay. I'm assuming it's going to be okay. I can see the comments now, which is brilliant. I love technology. It's amazing that we can do this stuff, but when it doesn't work, then it's very frustrating, obviously, when you've got people waiting to join the meeting and to finish strong. And I'm so excited to be here. I know I already said this once on the previous one, but it's an event that I can only do once a year, because you can only finish the year strong once a year. So this is the second time doing it. We did the last one last year. I think it was really, really successful. People got so much benefit out of it. And so that's why I'm back doing it again for you again. But things that we're going to talk about over the next couple of days can be applied to your movement practice year round. Okay, the reason we're talking about finishing strong now is because I think one of the common things that can tend to happen around about this time of year is that we can, if we've fallen off the wagon with a regular exercise routine, or we want to start a new exercise routine, for example, or we're just feeling like we need to, get started with something, body's not feeling that great, whatever it is, sometimes it can be tempting to postpone it till January. Yeah, because January is always the time of the resolutions. Everyone's starting a new fitness program then, or a new nutrition program then, or whatever it is. There is still 6 weeks left of this year, right? 6 weeks. So if you're going to delay that long, then imagine that whole 6 weeks, you could already have been getting on with it, right? Your body could already be feeling loads better. Every day that you don't do something is a day of deterioration. I hate to say it, but it's true, particularly those of us who are in the older camp, and I think most of my followers generally tend to be getting towards middle age, or maybe beyond that. Our bodies are deteriorating if we don't keep them maintained with our regular movement and exercise routine. And there's this, we know that we need to move more, a lot of us, or do some more exercise. But why? Right? NHS guidelines, 150 minutes of moderate activity per week, plus at least 2 times of some kind of strength training, okay, for your body. So, building, strength training in addition to doing walking, dancing, cycling, swimming, whatever that moderate intensity stuff is. And what we're going to be covering here is, and the kind of stuff that we're going to be doing is that kind of strength stuff, a little bit of mobility in there. Today we're going to do, a little bit later on, we're going to do a floor practice, and then tomorrow we're going to do a standing practice. And if you've registered, then you will get access to these practices. I'm going to chop them up and stick them on YouTube on an unlisted video, and you will have those practices to work with, and they'll be part of your practice routine over the next few weeks. Okay, and I think what's really important about doing it this time of year is because with the holidays approaching, or if you're in the US, for example, you know, you're kind of already in holiday season a little bit as well, with Thanksgiving next week. It can be so busy with all of the parties that are going on, and trying to finish stuff for the end of year, and perhaps you have to visit family, that kind of thing. And so trying to keep, even if you already have a bit of a movement practice, trying to keep this going amongst all of that can be challenging. So this is another reason why I've created this series, is to kind of give you some cool tools to start you thinking about it, because I really believe that if you are planning what you're doing and you put some things in place and tell yourself when you're going to be doing this, then it's much less likely to fall by the wayside than if you kind of go, oh, I might just squeeze it in here and there. Okay, so just checking people are here. So even if you commented before, I would love a comment now, because I haven't had any comments come through so far. Remember, this is an interactive session. Oh, there's Leslie, just as I was asking for the comments, Leslie's popped through. Yes, Leslie, thank you so much for that. Yes, I can see you now. So so as we go through the session, hopefully you've got your worksheets ready. Okay, Deb's here, lovely. Catherine, yay, hi, how's it going? So yeah, I would love to know whereabouts in the world you are as well, because I know we've got a few people from all over the place, and it always makes me so happy with this online stuff to see people from all over the world. I know where you are, a lot of you, but pop it in the comments anyway. So have you got your worksheets ready? We're going to be going through those in a moment, and we're going to need them tomorrow as well. So we're going to do half the worksheet today and half of it tomorrow. If you haven't got the worksheet yet, if you click on the link, which should be in the comments, and register, you can still register. I'm leaving that open. You'll get the worksheet emailed to you immediately. And plus you'll get access to the 2 workouts that we're going to do, that I'm going to chop up and you're going to use as part of your practice as well. So you can register if you haven't done so already. What was I going to say before we crack on with this? There was something else I wanted to say. Nikki's in Worcestershire, Deb's in New York, Leslie's down in Devon, awesome. Germany, Catherine, amazing. Fab. All right, cool. Well, let's get started. And can't remember what I said on the previous one when we had the technical glitch or not. If you're watching on replay, drop a hashtag replay in, because I would love to know. It's equally important that you are here as well as the people who are here live. And as we go through this, and I'm asking people to put comments in to answer the questions, and please do use this as well and tag me, and then I can come back to you and give you feedback as well. So I'm happy to give you feedback even if you're not joining us live. Just make sure you tag me in your comments and questions so that I can see it and come back to you over the next couple of days. All right, so let's go. Let me pull up the where is it? Okay, so I realized I made a bit of a mistake when I did the worksheet. I totally forgot to update the date, so it's the same one as last year, because you know, if it ain't broke, why not? Why, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But it does mean that it does have last year's dates in, which we'll see in a moment when we get to those. So also the other thing I wanted to say is that I'm not the oracle here, you know. I'm not the, like, if anyone else has got any ideas as we're going through as to how to keep your practice going and how to maintain this, or something that's really worked for you, please do share this as well. You know, I've got loads of ideas, and that's why I'm here sharing them with you. But if you've got some ideas yourself or something that's really worked for you, please do let everyone know as well, because knowledge shared is always the most important thing. And what we're going to be doing is making our own practice plan for the next 5 or 6 weeks, basically taking you up to the end of the year. But again, try not to think of this as a finite thing. Yeah, we want to have this springboard us into 2024. We want to keep up the regular movement practice and keep up our kind of strength and flexibility routine, in addition to what the other things that we are doing in our lives. Okay. So the first question on your worksheet, all right, what is your biggest obstacle to regular exercise right now? Or what do you think the obstacles are going to be in the coming weeks? Okay, so please do, if you're up for sharing them in the comments, please do so. And as I said, the more you use the comments to tell me what your obstacles are, the more I can help you individually with those. And possibly if you put something in there, other people might have the same as you, and then I can help as more people as possible, right? So you might already have a regular movement practice, okay, which is fantastic, but you might be worried that you're going to get a bit derailed by stuff going on over the holidays, and you want to put things in place to make sure that doesn't happen. Like I said, parties, families, work deadlines, food and booze hangovers, you know, that's a real thing. Later nights than usual, perhaps. And if you're not currently in the habit of regular exercise, what's holding you back? So things like the amount of time you've got, other distractions, are you feeling tired a lot? Have you got good intentions but you can't be bothered when it comes down to it? Yeah, so those are the kind of things to be thinking. What's your biggest obstacle, or what are the biggest obstacles? Okay, it's really important to identify these, and if you can see them visually down on paper, drop them in the comments if you're doing this electronically, rather than just thinking about it. If you just jot a couple of notes down, you're going to physically have that in front of you, so you can start to think about how you can overcome these obstacles. And then it can really help us to have something in place to either avoid them, or what can we do instead when something unexpected comes along. So let's just jump into the comments, see if anyone's... where are we? Okay, oh, lots of comments, yay. Becky's in Surrey, Linda's in Surrey, hi Linda, hi Becky. Louise McGreevy, hi, feeling tired and unmotivated, yeah. Pain, depression, fatigue and social commitments. I know you've had a lot going on, Nikki, this year, so totally understandable. Deb, yeah, I know you've got a great routine. Yeah, Deb's already in my Move and Glow program and does classes with me as well. Sometimes you think routine is killing me. You don't think you're making progress. Okay, I think maybe it depends on what you're trying to progress towards. Leslie's doing really well with a combination of the short videos, Couch to 5K, and training for a long walk. And lack of daylight is an issue. I like to move outside. Okay, cool. All right, so let's just have a little think about that. So feeling tired and unmotivated was the first one in there. It's challenging. Motivation is the thing with motivation is that it doesn't just come. Sometimes we are waiting for it to come and thinking, oh, and I don't feel motivated, I can't be bothered, right? You know, when you recognize that, have a think and realize that it's the motivation comes when you start to see some results. Okay, so it's more about knowing that you need to do it, having that willingness to take action, and taking action, however small it is. Yeah, I often talk about 5 minutes is better than no minutes. Even just getting started can be the hardest thing. And if you're waiting for motivation, a lot of the time it's not going to come, you know. And I know that sounds a bit depressing, but the motivation comes when you start to see results. But you have to take action enough times to start to see results, to start to get that motivation going, to start to create that little bit of flow happening. Okay, and feeling tired, and again, it's one of these double-edged swords. You feel tired, so you don't want to exercise, but actually regular exercise does tend to make you feel more energized and more alert, and it can make you sleep better as well. So if you're feeling tired because you're not sleeping very well, it can also improve your sleep as well. So again, it's this resistance, right? We're going to talk a little bit more about resistance, but it's just I think with that, it's trying to identify that you're feeling this way, and then gently coaxing yourself past it, okay? Because your brain is trying to protect you, because you're sending a stress signal to the brain, okay? Because by holding yourself back and feeling tired and maybe reinforcing, oh, I'm feeling really tired, or I don't feel like doing it, you know, this energy going to the brain is a stress signal, which it can't distinguish between you not wanting to do some exercise and a lion coming in the room. Yeah, and your brain's just trying to protect you. So it will put more resistance in place to you doing the thing, and it becomes this cycle of not doing it. So you just kind of have to, it's easier said than done, but you just have to get off the sofa and go for it. And having short, simple things to do is really, really helpful for me. Like, I use my own videos. Like, I have my Move and Glow program, which is lots of short videos that Leslie mentioned, and I use it myself because when I'm feeling unmotivated, because it does happen, I can just put on one of these videos, and they're 5 to 10 minutes long, and you just get up and do it. So this is what's great for those of you who registered, and if you haven't registered yet, please do so, because when we do the workouts later on, I'm going to chop them up, I'm going to stick them on YouTube, you're going to have access to them, and you can bookmark them and come back to them when you're feeling like, oh, I need to do some movement, but I don't know what to do. Okay. So where are we? So Leslie's doing great. Yeah, lack of daylight. So I mean, when we come to these obstacles, let's come to the next question while I continue to answer these and address some of these. So which of the obstacles that you've written down, okay, is within your control? Okay, so Leslie's comment about the daylight, okay, and liking to be outdoors is probably not within her control at the moment. Perhaps your work schedule isn't within your control, okay. But have a think about which of these factors are within your control, okay, and how can you start to make some adjustments to find some space. Okay, so just have a little think about that, and I just want you to pick one thing. Yeah, we're not going to be working miracles here. Like, if you're just slowly starting to build a habit, I don't want you to have to feel like you need to come up with loads of ideas, but one thing that's an obstacle for you that you can possibly control. All right, because the things that we can't control, let's just not worry about them. Right? Because we could always be like, oh, I wish it was lighter longer. I wish I had a different work schedule. We don't at the moment, I mean, maybe you could change your job, but that's like a longer term issue, and maybe possibly unrealistic for most people. It's kind of not what we're talking about here. What is within your control? Hi, Emily. Where are we? So, Linda, hi Linda, it used to be time until I do 5 minutes, and it's finding ones that don't trigger pain. Yeah, that's challenging, Linda. I'm not sure if you've done the pain session with me, but I think we did do that at one point. But I think with exercises, when you're experiencing pain, it's important to find an entry point. So yeah, once you find some exercises that don't trigger pain, those are the ones to start with, okay, and making a note of those. So maybe a follow along video isn't or a different follow along video every time isn't going to work for you because you're not sure what the exercises are going to come up, for example. But once you've got like 2 or 3 exercises that don't cause pain, write them down, okay, and keep coming back to them, and then working out ways that you can gently progress them, make them a little bit more challenging, right? And this is how we kind of start to move beyond kind of chronic pains. But make sure that you've seen a clinician, okay? I think you mentioned in your thing that you have, so maybe that's something for us to have a separate conversation about. Who else is there? Deb, okay, so I do regular exercise, I don't feel like I'm making progress. Have you been progressing your exercises? Have you been thinking about the level that you're working at? Okay, so when you do the short videos with me, for example, are you doing the most challenging version of them? Is there any way that you can add some weight to it? Is there any way that you can slow the exercises down to make them more challenging? And then I think it will be a case of having a think about, what does progression actually look like for you? Okay, because that's quite a vague thing. What would you like to progress to? What would it look like for you to feel like you're making improvement? Because I know that you've got a fantastic movement practice. I know you said you're finding it difficult to get back again after your trip. But yeah, I know that you've got lots of regular stuff going on, which is great. Have a think about what you actually want to achieve. If you feel like you're not progressing, why? Okay, well, so what's missing from that? All right, Linda, Emily, hi. Leslie's been running backwards and forwards across the prom, and as it's lit. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So, getting into a lit space, I think, is the way to overcome that obstacle. Indeed. So, Catherine's have a routine. Soon I'll be working in hospitality. 6 days a week, almost all day, not enough sleep, and just wanting to sleep after work. I feel fresh after 9 p.m. when I really try and move, but it's not much time. You don't need much time, Catherine. 5 minutes is better than no minutes. I don't know if the hospitality thing is just like a seasonal thing over the holiday period, or whether that's going to be long term. But if you feel like you can do it after 9 p.m, like, just have a short, like, 5 to 10 minutes that you can just do. It doesn't have to be an hour long. Right, if you're doing like consistently 5 to 10 minutes a day of decent movement, then that's really going to help you a lot. Okay, Deb says she wants to be stronger and without pain. Again, I think pain, we'll have to talk about that a little bit separately. It depends what pain you're experiencing where. It depends where you want to be stronger. What does being stronger mean for you? Okay, is it related to something that you do in your everyday life? Is it related to a particular exercise that you do that you want to get better at? Nikki, thank you for helping Leslie with that comment about the running club. Okay, cool. So where are we? Let's go back to the worksheet. So if anyone wants to drop in which obstacles are within their control, any tweaks that they think that they can make. Now I've said some of that stuff. Tomorrow we're going to be going into some detail, okay, about some of my top tips for getting moving, but it's always down to you to kind of have a think about, okay, what's my personal individual situation. Okay, now I want you to have a think about the next 6 weeks, so end of November and into December and through the Christmas and New Year period. Okay, and I want you to think realistically about how many sessions per week you can do and how long these sessions can be. Okay, and I want you to think realistically. Okay, I don't want you to think about what your ideal number of exercise sessions and your ideal duration, because wouldn't it be wonderful to all have like an hour a day to do? I certainly don't. But is it 3 times a week? 3 times a week, 20 minutes? Is it every day but just 5 minutes? Is it variable each week? Highly likely to be variable each week, and you don't have to go all the way up until New Year necessarily, but I've given you space to go all the way up. Maybe we could work on the first 3 weeks, for example, and you'll see this is where I've made the mistake with the date. So whether it says week commencing 21st of November, should be 20th of November, so tomorrow. Okay, so have a little think, and hopefully you've brought your diaries and calendars with you. Maybe over the next 3 weeks, jot a couple of commitments and obstacles that are specific to the next 3 weeks in the boxes. So we've got, instead of the 21st, it should be the 20th of November, then the 27th of November, and then the 4th of December. So those first 3 weeks, what's going to get in your way? Let's highlight these things. Where have you got extra meetings? Where have you got parties? Where have you got nights out? Where are you visiting family? Where have you got a new job starting, Catherine? So pop those in there. And like I said, it's so important to highlight these, because I'm a sucker for this. I always think that I've got more time than I have. I have to be really strict with my calendar. as Emily knows, she's been helping me with some stuff, balancing my own calendar and energy and life hormonally. Emily's fantastic. You should go and check her out, by the way. Emily Jiggins, who's on here now. Hopefully she's still here. She's amazing. Hormonal coach. So if that's something you're interested in, please go check her out. Anyway, I digress. Then in the column next to it, jot down some days and times where you do have time to move. Okay, so and make it like that. Like my recommendation is not to put it in as I'll squeeze it in when I have time. Okay, that works for some people. Yeah, and I know maybe if you've got kids, then sometimes it's impossible to predict when you're going to have free time. But if you can specify a time and stick to it, and again we're going to talk about this a little bit more tomorrow. If you can specify a time and stick to it, it's like keeping an appointment with yourself. Okay, so you're making an appointment with yourself as if you were your own best friend. Okay, and if you've created that date with yourself and perhaps told family members in your house that you're going to be doing your movement at that time so they can't interrupt you, then again it just takes away some of those barriers, some of that resistance to doing the thing. Okay, and if you can as well, have a contingency. So for example, if you said I'm going to do Monday, Wednesday and Friday at before I go to work, I'm going to do 10 minutes at 7 o'clock in the morning. Great. And what's your contingency? Your contingency in case one of those days is you accidentally go out for drinks after work. Not accidentally, if you unexpectedly is the word, get invited for some drinks after work on a Tuesday and you end up feeling a little bit blurry-eyed on the Wednesday, your contingency is the Saturday. Okay, so giving yourself space to have a contingency plan for your movement practice. Okay, so I would love to know what people are thinking about in terms of how many times per week and how long can you realistically fit in. And realistic is important as well. The reason I say realistic is because when we give ourselves these ambitious goals, and being ambitious is great, but when we don't hit them, it can feel demotivating, and we all need that motivation, right? It can feel motivating, it might feel disappointing, we might feel bad about ourselves. If you can give yourself a realistic target and think, okay, I've got 3 parties on this week, I think I'm really only going to be able to get this in twice a week, then when you've got it in twice a week, fantastic, you can tick those boxes off. It's done. You've done the best that you can for your body this week. Okay, and then if you manage to squeeze an extra one in, then it's a bonus. Okay, let's have a look at some of these comments. Where are we? So I want to strengthen my joints to be able to teach my children these skills as I never teach these things in school. Right, indeed, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, the more when you're doing exercises yourself, just get your kids involved, and when you're starting to create the habit yourself, have them involved when you're doing it, perhaps if that's realistic for you. And if you can all do it together, then it can kind of become a family activity. You don't have to tell them to go out of the room and not disturb you. You can make it like a family thing that you do together. Happy birthday for tomorrow, Dev. Awesome. And every week is a reset. Okay, cool. So do drop in the comments, and this also goes for everyone on replay. If you're watching there on replay, please do let us know how many times a week you're going to be doing your practice and how long. Okay, what have you got time for this week? Even if you only think about it in terms of this week and then come back to it at the end of next week, then that's fine. But make sure you keep coming back to it. Yeah, I think it's really, really important to keep on top of what's going on, okay, in your life. So, anything else that I wanted to say? So one thing that's really important to remember particularly when we're thinking about motivation, particularly when we're thinking about enjoying ourselves over the holiday season and balancing the enjoyment with looking after our body as well, is the ability to be able to embrace a little discomfort in the presence. Sorry, let me start that again. Embrace a little bit of discomfort in the present for the benefit of your future self. Okay. So if you can think about that in terms of like doing a little bit of practice when you're already feeling tired, that's hopefully going to energize you and make you, or help you to relax, or perhaps relieve some stress. And if you can keep a regular practice going throughout the holidays, then you're not going to feel so sluggish when it comes to January, right? Because I mean, I've done it before. I am a lot better than I used to be, but I know a few years ago, everything would kind of fall by the wayside. I'd eat too much, and just you get into that first week of January and it's already feeling a bit miserable because the party season's over and you're back to work and everything. If you've kept a movement practice going, your body's going to thank you for it so much. You're going to feel so much less sluggish and you don't feel like you have to get started in your new practice then. And persisting with a regular practice, no matter when it feels messy and irregular, it's going to give your body the resilience and strength to manage whatever life throws at it. Okay. If you skip one day, it's no big deal, but once you start skipping more, it just compounds and compounds. And obviously what I said earlier on about the constant deterioration our bodies are experiencing. Okay. Let's have a little look. All right. I think that is all we're going to talk about today, and we're going to cover the rest of the worksheet tomorrow. Where are we? Nikki, 2 times 20 minutes per week. Brilliant. Deb, 3 to 4, 15 minutes. Brilliant. Linda, 5 minutes a day. Fantastic. Love it. Deb, yeah, winter and holidays are hard mentally. Yes, I know, I understand, hard for a lot of people. I totally understand. And this is really going to help you, just kind of sticking to that, keeping your routine going. Maybe starting to identify some ways that you can progress what you're doing, so that you can start to feel that you are making some progression, like trying to think, okay, what do I want to get stronger at? Where is the pain that I want to try and work through? That kind of thing. That will hopefully help to keep your mental health feeling a little bit better. All right, we're going to move now. So let me just check my screen to see where we are. Okay, cool. So I think you can see all of me and the mat there. Lovely. So we're going to be on the floor today. Tomorrow I think we will do a standing one, so just so you can be prepared. And we're going to start off with one of my new favourite exercises for the hips. So I'm just going to give you a second or two to take some space. And maybe while you're just getting situated, let's just breathe for a minute. Take a nice deep breath in. And breathing out, squeezing out every atom of air. And again, breathing in. And breathing out. And again, breathing in. And out. One more time, breathing in. And breathing out. Okay, so we're going to come into a shin box position. So we're going to come into this kind of position where one hip is internally rotated and the other hip is externally rotated. If this feels a little bit uncomfortable, it might help to have a cushion under your bum for this as well. All right, and I'm going to turn myself slightly sideways on the mat, and you'll see why in a moment. So we're going to switch, and you might need your hands behind your back. That's totally fine. We're going to switch, and we're going to bring the knees up and over to the other side. Okay, so now we've got the same position of the legs, just on the other side. And again, over to the other side. Okay, so we're going to keep moving. And if your hands come off the floor, this is a great way to progress this. You'll probably find yourself scooting forwards, as I'm already doing. You do tend to like scoot on your butt. Keep moving. I'm just moving myself back. I'm actually just going to keep my hands behind me just so that I can keep adjusting and stay on the screen. But please feel free to do this without the hands on the floor if you can. Okay, and it may be that your knees don't get all the way down to the floor. Maybe you're just kind of windscreen wipering like this, and that is also fine. Yeah, so we're just kind of mobilizing the hip joints here. Okay, so let's do 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice. All right, so now come into a seated position. I'm just going to have straight legs for the moment because we've been cross-legged for a moment, but you can sit however you like. And we're going to take, actually I'm going to change my body angle. We're going to take one arm forwards in front of us, and we're going to do a little bit of internal and external rotation for the shoulders. So thumb down so that your palm is facing out, and you're going to take your arm up and over and behind you and keep that external rotation, internal rotation in the shoulder. Good. We're going to do 3 in this direction, and then we're going to reverse the direction of the circle, keeping that internal rotation. And don't worry, you might have to bring your arm kind of out to the side a little bit. Good. And release, and then other side, thumb down. I'm just going to switch sides so that I can move my arm. So thumb down, your palm is facing outwards, and you're taking it back behind you. 1, 2, 3, and then bring it forwards. 1, 2, 3. Nice, good. All right, shake it out, roll the shoulders back a couple of times and forwards, and just give them a wiggle. Okay, let's come on to your side. So you can support your head with your hands, or just rest it on your arm, or grab a cushion for your hand if you need to. We're just going to do some clamshells for our hips. So opening and closing the knee, keeping the feet attached to each other just for a moment. And what you want here is to really get the muscles in the side of the hip working, and try and keep the hips stacked on top of each other. So sometimes there can be the tendency to roll back. Try only to move as far as the hip will open without rolling back. Yeah, let's do 4, 3, 2, and 1, and give your hip a bit of a wiggle. We're going to progress that if you like. We're going to do either another 10 like that, or you can join me in lifting the foot off the other foot. Yeah, so now we're just kind of rotating the leg in the hip socket. We're going to do 10, so that was 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Give your bum a wiggle, and let's switch quickly over to the other side. So same thing, head can rest on the arm, or you can support your head. We're in bent knee position here, and we're opening and closing that top knee. And again, top hip is stacked on top of the bottom one. Feet are staying attached for the moment there, and really thinking about squeezing the muscles in the side of the hip as you lift that leg up. We've got 4 more. 3, 2, 1, and then take a breather for a second, give it a bit of a rub, and then if you can either repeat again, do another set, or you could take the foot up off the other foot, and we're going to open and close for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Give your hip a bit of a rub. Okie doke. We're going to come straight up onto all fours. So, hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. And from here, we're going to lift one leg up and then bring it back down again. And then switching sides, other leg lifts and bring it back down again. So what I want you to try and do is control the pelvis. So as the leg lifts, you're not kind of twisting with it. The pelvis is staying nice and level, as if you were balancing a cup of tea on your pelvis, like so. So lifting and lowering, lift and lower, lift and lower. Good. We're going to do 4, 3, 2 and 1, and then we're going to lift one leg and we're going to hold it in position and we're going to pulse up. So pulse, 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 squeeze, 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 squeeze for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. And release down. We've got another side to do. Again, lifting up and little pulses. Lift, 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 squeeze, squeeze, squeeze for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Very nice. All right, let's just bring the hips back over the heels for a moment, forehead down. And then coming back up. So let's just circle the wrists for a moment. Give them a bit of a shake. Good. All right, so coming back onto all fours. And a couple of different options here. Well, let's actually start off all together doing the same one. We're going to bend the elbows and you're going to grip the floor and pull your chest and your forehead down towards the mat and then press it away again. Okay, so coming down. So we're doing like a half a press up basically, because we're hinging at the hips and bringing our torso down towards the mat, bringing our foreheads down towards the mat. Let's do 4 more. And if you can't get all the way down, don't worry. If you're just kind of halfway, that's totally fine. It takes a while to build up this strength, so keep working with it. Let's do 2 more. And last one. Good. And let's just do a little bit of a mobility release. I like to do this after doing presses. So I'm swinging one arm across and then swinging behind the head. So it goes across and behind and across and behind, across and behind. One more time. And then other side, swinging across and behind. And 3. And let's do 1 more. Good. All right, so we're going to do 1 more little set of those. Either you can do the same again, or you can join me in doing a slightly longer lever. So I'm going to take my body forwards a little bit. So you'll see how I'm making like a diagonal line from my knees to the crown of my head. We're going to do 10, so gripping the floor with the fingertips and thumbs. Again, if you need to stay on all fours for this one, you can do so. Just choose your own adventure here. So coming down and pressing up, and 2, and 3, and 4, keeping zipped up in the front of the body, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. All right, we'll do that little swing again just to release them. And if you like, you can try doing them both at the same time. So either one at a time, or opposing. One goes behind the head and the other one comes across the front of the body. So if you're just doing one arm, switch here. Four, 3, 2, 1, and shake it out. Okie doke. So let's just do one more exercise. Yes, so we're going to come on to our backs, and my absolute favorite, really great for the pelvis. We're just going to lift one leg. This is one of my favorites because you can just modify it. So Linda, for you, this is a great one to think about. You were saying that finding exercises that don't cause you pain. I don't know if any of this movement does. Obviously, you know, I can't comment without seeing you one-to-one. But this is an example of where we're building up an exercise. So we're marching the legs, and then we make it more challenging by extending the legs. Okay, and this is a really nice way to warm up into the exercise. You can do this one on its own, right? So, you know, you don't need an extended warm-up. You can just do the more basic version and then build up to the more challenging version, right? And if this one feels okay, you can come up, down, down into that tabletop position. And so if you at some point you start to experience pain, that's where you stop and you go back to the previous version, right? So that's your entry point. And then hopefully you'll find with time that you will be able to progress. The longer you do it and the more you keep testing it and giving your body a safe experience with movement. And obviously I'm talking about aches and pains that aren't injuries. When you've been cleared for movement by a physician or your clinician, please. Okay, so if this one feels comfortable for you, coming up into tabletop, and then we're going to toe tap down. Okay, a further way to make this more challenging is to take arms overhead. And Deb, for you, for example, you said that you're not progressing perhaps. If you're doing these exercises, you could add some weights in your hands, you know, or you could add some resistance bands to it. So maybe we can straighten the legs out, you know. So all the time you want to find ways to make things more challenging for yourself. So we're going to do 4, 3, 2, 1, and then give the knees a hug in towards you and just rocking side to side, and then bring the knees back onto the floor, arms out to the side just to support you, and then just dropping the knees to one side and then over to the other. I can't go all the way on that side because of the bed, but it's a little bit like the one we did at the beginning, this. Good, let's do one more on each side. Good, and then come to center, and then rolling yourself onto the side and coming up to sitting. And you are done for today. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully you found that fun and useful. And let's see what the comments are. As I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to download this and chop it up and stick it onto YouTube. So those of you who have registered will have those come through. Probably I'll do them both together, so it will be a little bit later this week, but you will have them, don't worry. And you can use these short videos, okay, as part of your practice plan. Yeah, so if you enjoyed that one, this can be your, I don't know how long we did, maybe about 10 minutes or so. This can be your 10 minutes that you do, or you can add that onto another exercise if you want to do a slightly longer session. If you want a 5-minute session, then you know, take just that last one we did, those toe taps, and just build it up and make it more challenging, and then stop for a second and then do another set, and that will probably take you about 5 minutes, right? So hopefully that's helped. Let's see the comments. So yes, Leslie, holidays are hard. Last time I've made it a time to focus on self-care. Yes, awesome, Leslie. I'm so pleased to hear that. So, any more comments, questions? Would love to know what that little movement practice was like for you. Hopefully, I'm going to see everybody tomorrow at the same time. Still got 7 of you watching. That's awesome. All right, I'm just going to give it a couple more minutes. It always takes the comments a couple of seconds to come through. Don't forget to bring your worksheets tomorrow. If you weren't sure about filling your the amount that you were going to do per week plus the duration. Only a couple of you answered that question. I'm going to ask it again first thing tomorrow, so please have a think over the next 24 hours, because I'll be asking you again. Okay, or if you want to drop a comment in, if you think about it over the next couple of hours and want to drop it in afterwards. So this is a nice interactive session, so make sure everyone's contributing. So Dave, that felt good. Awesome. Nikki, your abs have turned to jelly. Don't worry, we'll get them going again. We'll get them going again, Nikki. Don't worry. Awesome. Thank you all so much for watching. Those of you who joined us live, and if you're watching this on catch up as well, like I said, please pop a hashtag replay. If you enjoyed this, please share it. Okay, it's just live on my Facebook profile, so you know, just hit share. I would love to get some more people involved, because this stuff is really, really important. You know, the reason why I want to help you move your bodies is just to make you feel healthier and happier, and you know, when you do it, it feels good, right? So it's just finding, you know, how to get there. We're going to talk more about motivation and the resistance factors tomorrow. I'm going to give you some really good tips. Those of you who've done this with me before will already know them, but they are always worth revisiting and reminding yourself of. Even when I do this myself, I'm like, oh yeah, I need to do that, you know. So they're really good. So really good tips. So do join us tomorrow for that session. Always good to see you. Always good to see you too, Leslie. Thank you for joining. I really appreciate you coming today. All right, take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your day tomorrow, and I will see you tomorrow at 6. Mwah.